Walker, worldwide manufacturer of emission control systems for the automotive industry, is nowadays one of the biggest and technologically more advanced emission control manufacturers in the world for both OE and AM. Thanks to this invaluable advantage, Walker is able to use all this OE experience acquired during the last century, building top-level emission control systems, following the most strict environmental regulations for almost all known OE manufacturers for producing top-level products for our AM customers worldwide. In this episode, we're going to talk about the important topic of the muffler and pipes customer claims. After this training, we will be able to determine how many of those claims can be considered real warranties and which ones are caused due to a faulty installation or other problems, helping us to avoid them effectively in the future. Let's start. In general, to make a correct diagnosis of an exhaust system, this one shouldn't show signs of gas leaks or advanced rusting. All connections must be sealed, bearing in mind that any connection upstream the last anti-pollution device or sensor must be correctly sealed without the use of the putty paste, as when the silicon in the paste burns, it would ruin the operation of the catalyst, filters and sensors located downstream. Check the internal status of the silencers by tapping with a rubber mallet the housing of the silencers. The sound of loose elements could indicate that the silencer has internal damage due to corrosion or manufacturing problems. This problem can significantly alter the exhaust back pressure levels, which has a very negative effect on the power, consumption and useful life of the parts of emission control system. If the silencer is noisy due to internal corrosion, it is never considered as a warranty because the problem is produced due to abnormal use. The exhaust is never warm enough to dry the water inside. On the other hand, if the silencer is new and after tapping the housing we detect that there are loose parts inside, there is a high probability that this exhaust had a manufacturing problem and therefore should be replaced under warranty by a new one in perfect condition. Check the external status of the exhaust system, looking for cracks and leakages at the connections and welding points of all the pipes and silencers. Let's review the main ones. Rust over the clamped area of the exhaust housing. There are two problems that can generate this issue. The first one is the accumulation of salt and water over this area, especially in cold regions where drivers can find salt on the road to prevent the formation of ice. In this case, the rust appears outside but not inside, and unless the rust perforates the exhaust housing, that will not produce any problem to emission control system or engine because the back pressure of the exhaust remains at the correct level. In this case, it's clear that this claim is not a warranty because it has nothing to do with a manufacturing problem. On the other hand, the second possibility to get this claim is due to a manufacturing problem. In this case, the problem appears when the press that created the clamped area on the silencer by mistake gives insufficient pressure on the clamped area of the muffler. This situation generates a leakage from the exhaust clamped area to the atmosphere, causing a back pressure problem to the system. This failure is easy to detect because the gases are escaping from the clamped area of the muffler since the first day of installation. In this case, of course, we can consider it warranty. The rusted holes found at the lower part of the housing of some silencers are other possible claims. In this case, the water condensation produced when the silencer is cold produces liquid water that stays inside, rusting the metal due to the combined action of the water and acids because the vehicle, due to the way of driving, is not able to heat up the silencer, evaporating this water. Studies show that the water in the rear silencer evaporates completely after circulating for 40 minutes at a speed of 40 km to 80 km an hour, thus preventing internal oxidization reactions. This problem can't be considered under warranty because it has nothing to do with a manufacturing problem. In order to avoid these types of claims, Walker exhausts are built in 2 layers of metal instead of the single one used by most of the competitors. Another claim that can be easily detected is the lack of welding cord in some parts, like pipes. These claims are always caused by manufacturing issues and therefore are considered acceptable warranties. The explosion of the housing is another type of claim that is easier to detect in cold areas. This fault occurs when unburnt fuel escaping from the combustion chambers due to a mechanical problem condenses in liquid form in the silencers when they're cold. In this situation, any spark leaving the combustion chamber through the exhaust valve will cause an explosion inside the exhaust, which will end up breaking the housing of the exhaust. Failures as ignition failures, burnt or worn exhaust valves, or the installation of non-homologated emission control parts in the exhaust system that modifies internal back pressure of the system can cause this issue. Internal rust processes can also cause this problem due to the back pressure variation. This claim is not considered a warranty in any of those cases because the problem has nothing to do with the exhaust manufacturing process. One of the most common claims we can see in the garages are the exhausts cracked at the welding area where the exhaust pipes are attached to them. This problem appears when the rubber of the exhaust supports hardens due to the action of the heat and the external chemical agents. The rubber of those elements loses its elasticity, producing an increase of the number of uncontrolled vibrations in all directions. These situations end up cracking the side cover of the silencer where the pipes are attached to it, with a characteristic circular pattern. Even in the earliest stages, this fault can cause significant changes in the back pressure levels of the exhaust system, which can negatively affect the engine output, increasing fuel consumption, and shorten the useful life of the vehicle's anti-pollution system, catalyst, particle filter, lambda probes, etc. To prevent these kinds of problems, Walker recommends changing the rubber supports whenever an element of the exhaust system is replaced, every 5 years or every 100,000 kilometers, whichever occurs first, and always replace emission control parts with homologated ones. Any failure created as a result of the unprofessional practice of reusing exhaust rubber supports will not be considered as warranty because the problems created to the emission control system has nothing to do with the exhaust manufacturing process. Another problem related to vibrations are the ones produced due to worn engine rubber support or transmission flexible joints. When these elements are in a poor state, a very characteristic irregular cut in the exhaust or catalytic converter pipes appears, produced by a sharp continuous twisting movement over the pipes. The fault is generally found in the bends, or a few centimeters away from where the pipe is welded to the silencer housing. It often damages the flexible pipes first, whose function is to absorb part of those twisting movements. Walker recommends checking and changing engine rubber supports or transmission flexible joints at the time prescribed at the vehicle's service book. This claim is not considered a warranty in any of those cases because these problems are related to faulty maintenance and not to exhaust manufacturing process. Another possible claim is coming for the abnormal position of the exhaust metallic supports. The metal supports enable the exhaust system to be installed correctly under the vehicle. If they are broken or damaged by impacts with road objects, the exhaust system will be subject to forces and vibrations that will end up breaking it. Except in the case of welding issues, in which those metallic supports could not be correctly attached to the exhaust, this type of failure is not considered a warranty because the problems explained are produced by impacts with road objects and therefore has nothing to do with the exhaust manufacturing process. To finalize this brief overview about exhaust claims, I want to talk about the practice of reusing the old clamps connections. The clamps should not be reused. They are designed to be used only once. Reused clamps can cause gas leakages that end up generating serious problems to the emission control system due to the variation in the back pressure levels of the exhaust system. Any failure created because of this unprofessional practice will not be considered as warranty because the problems created to the emission control system has nothing to do with the exhaust manufacturing process.
We are Garage Gurus. Join our community. Follow us on social media. Thanks for watching this video. The video description contains all the relevant links. Don't hesitate to like, subscribe, and be notified when we post new content. Also, check out our Garage Gurus online course catalog.